Yeah, fine. So welcome to the day one of Selenium training at qtpselenium.com. Before I start with the training, fine, I'll give you a brief overview. Like there are a lot of questions being asked about the course, about everything. All right. So I'll tell you what you can expect out of this course. All right. If you go to my website qtpselenium.com. Fine. So I've listed down around 43 modules on this site. Okay. So along with the course, you will be getting a lifetime access to all the 43 video modules, which are there on this page. Okay. In this course, I will be covering Java. In this course, I will be covering WebDriver and I will be covering frameworks. All right. So now, if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask me. Right. Just feel free to ask any question about the training, about the course, about Java, about Selenium. Whatever doubt or question you have, you can ask. Fine. Now, moving further, okay, I just start with the basics of Selenium. That is how it evolved over a period of time. What exactly Selenium is, what are the various components of Selenium, right? Hold on. I first worked on Selenium around 5 to 6 years back. Fine. And out then there were these components. At that time there used to be something known as, just hold on, Selenium RC. Okay. Then there was something known as IDE, which is still there, and GRID. Okay. Now basically these three were the initial components of Selenium when Selenium was started. Okay. And why Selenium was started? It was basically made by a company known as ThoughtWorks initially to test its own internal applications, and they never knew that it would go so famous. Firstly, secondly, what you can do is, like, if you actually go towards, if you search on Google about Selenium versions, you'll get a lot of things. You'll see that first RC came, WebDriver came, and a lot of things started coming up. Fine. So I'll just tell you a brief history how it all started. ThoughtWorks made it, and it initially made it for its own internal testing purpose. Fine. And it was not a very simple tool to use in the beginning. Fine. It was a little technically complex as well. Okay. Now IDE as a tool is basically something, it is also used right now. It is basically record run. Okay, and it only works on Mozilla. It cannot be used if you have got large number of test cases, like 1000 test cases or something. It generates no reports, nothing, no HTML reports and all. So it's not a tool which you can use at a large scale for multiple browser testing. Fine. Moreover, let me tell you something. Selenium is only a tool which can use your which can be used with your web-based applications. Selenium as a tool cannot be used with desktop-based applications. Okay, so if you have to test a desktop-based application, then Selenium is not the tool. Even like people, they come to me that say that in Selenium they have seen Android driver, they have seen iPhone driver these days. So how can I test my Android application and all? You cannot test native Android applications with Selenium. You cannot test iPhone application with Selenium. Okay, all you can test is how your browser is making website open in Android, how it is making, like how is it opening the website in iPhone, right? That you can test. Alright, I'll teach that, but for time being, just understand Selenium can only be used for web-based applications. Alright, now Selenium RC as a tool, it eliminated the drawbacks in IDE. Okay, RC supported multiple browsers like Mozilla, IE, Chrome, Safari, Opera. So all these browsers were supported. Apart from that, RC can be implemented in one of the languages like Java, C Sharp, Ruby, Python, Perl, okay, PHP. Fine, there are multiple languages available with which you can implement RC. It doesn't mean that if your website is made in Java, you have to use Selenium RC with Java. If your website is made in Ruby, you cannot use Selenium RC with Perl. It's independent of the website. Let the website be made in any language. Okay, you can use Selenium RC with any one of the extensions to test. Okay, and in this, the most famous these days in the market is Selenium with Java. 60 to 70% of industry uses Selenium with Java. Okay, and GRID is something which helps you to run your test cases parallelly. Suppose you have got 3000 test cases, okay, and you have to finish them quickly. So in GRID we make a hub, a central machine, and we make nodes. Okay, I have got 3000 test cases, then I can distribute 1000 test cases on one node, 1000 on another, 1000 on another, and simply execute them on all the 3 nodes. So this will make the process quicker, right? Or I have got 3000 test cases which have to be executed on all the 3 browsers, Mozilla, IE, Chrome. Fine. So you can make 3 nodes. On one node you can test them on Mozilla. On second node you can test them on IE. On third node you can test them on Chrome. Alright. So it depends what you want to do. Okay. So this is about a brief about Selenium, how it started. Now Selenium initially had a lot of drawbacks. Okay. The major component which was used was not IDE in the industry. Very few people use IDE. Most of the industry initially started using RC to implement Selenium. GRID came up later on because GRID, it's not, you don't need to start with GRID directly. You first need to make a code on Selenium and then you can deploy it on GRID to run parallelly. Okay, so RC was the tool which came up initially and it could support multiple browsers, so people started using it. But RC had a lot of drawbacks. Okay, one of the major drawbacks or the initial drawbacks which were there in RC was, like in RC, every time you had to work with RC, you actually had to start up a server. RC required you to start up a server and then work on it. You had to make a server in your local system, Selenium RC server, started through command prompt. But the problem was sometimes the server never used to get started. So people used to end up restarting their machines or unblocking the ports, blocking the ports, and it was tough for testers to do that. Fine. So Google also started using Selenium in their projects. All the Google applications are automated using Selenium. Okay, and Google along with ThoughtWorks, right? These guys, they came up with the new version in 2011 that is known as WebDriver. Fine. Selenium RC is also known as Selenium 1 and WebDriver is technically known as Selenium 2. Okay. Now migration from RC to Selenium it was Selenium 1 to Selenium 2 was actually, it was in the sense, it was very different. Like Selenium RC is a very different tool than WebDriver. People who have worked on RC for 5 years, when they look at the WebDriver code, they are not able to understand it. Both of them are completely different. WebDriver eliminated all the shortcomings and drawbacks of RC. Okay, and uh, you know, in WebDriver, you can actually do it faster than RC. There is no server to start, nothing. You end up wasting less time. All right. Now, it's not necessary to learn RC if you have to learn WebDriver. You can skip RC and you can directly start with WebDriver as well. All the new development work in the companies is just being done in WebDriver because it is the latest version. Okay, but some companies still use RC because RC is actually still being used in their companies. The old systems are still implemented in RC, and the companies, they don't want to change that implementation because it is stable. So those companies, they use RC, right? But most of the times when you go for an interview, you will be expected to learn WebDriver. Okay, WebDriver has also got same properties. It's available in multiple languages, multiple browsers, and all everything. Right. IDE, it remained the same. No change came in IDE except few new versions coming up. And GRID actually became GRID 2. GRID 2 had a support for both RC as well as WebDriver, while GRID 1 only had support for RC. Okay. In GRID 2 also, they have very simplified the complete process. You can run the test cases parallelly. Alright, so this is about Selenium. It is not just one tool, there are many components inside Selenium. Okay, I'm sorry guys. Right, so there are many components inside Selenium. Okay, now how do you go about learning it? That's the major point. It's quite vast, I also understand, right? So that's the major question which people ask, should I learn this, should I learn that? Look, the thing is, to start with, go and start with the Java language. Okay, don't just jump over to Selenium. Java is the background, we are studying Java with Selenium with Java. Okay, the first important thing is to learn Java rather than jumping over to Selenium. I have seen many people doing this mistake, that they actually don't go and learn Java. Fine, they directly go and start working on Selenium and then they lose their interest. Okay, so the better is that you go and learn Java first. I'll be teaching you Java and I'll be starting with Java, right? The implementation of Selenium is completely object oriented in nature, right? And Java is also object oriented language. So I'll be taking up the concepts of object oriented programming first with you. I'll be teaching you Java first, and after that you can actually run over to Selenium. Fine. So do one thing. If you actually go to the website seleniumhq.org, fine. In this website, if you go to the download section, you will see a link known as Java.doc over here. This is the documentation of Selenium. If you actually you can say, like many people, they have come to me and they've told me that fine Ashish, the documentation is not available for Selenium, I cannot see the documentation, very less information is present on the internet or something. The thing is, complete information about Java drivers of Selenium is present. Only thing is, it requires you to understand the Java language. If you open up this Java documentation for Selenium, this is completely this is completely technical in nature. Okay, this is completely technical in nature. It is like you need to have the concepts of object oriented programming very strong to understand this, right? So that's why I recommend you not to start with the concepts, not to start with Selenium directly. Go and understand the concepts of object oriented programming first. So what I will do is I'll start with Java now. Fine, just give me 5 minutes, I'll be back. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah, Java is actually required. Fine, Java is actually required for Selenium, and don't do this mistake. I again repeat, to skip Java language, right? To initially start with, you have to just go and download Java on your machine and install it. Okay, I hope everybody has installed Java because you were able to join the WebEx conference, and you cannot join the WebEx conference without installing Java. Okay, people who have got 64-bit machines, please be careful. If you have a 64-bit OS, fine, then you need to install JDK as well. JDK is Java Development Kit. You can go here and type download JDK, and you'll get the first link. Go here and click on this download link and install JDK over here by accepting the license agreement. Okay, fine. Now hold on. Right. So depending on your operating system version for 32-bit, 64-bit is basically this one. You'll have to install this one. Alright. Now after installing this, you have to install Eclipse. Fine. Eclipse is something in which you can write your Java coding. You can write Java code and execute your programs, just like Turbo C. Many of you might have studied C in the initial days of college or work. Fine. Turbo C is the editor for C language. Similarly, Eclipse is there for Java. If you go to Google and install, you write over here download Eclipse Indigo. Download Indigo, Eclipse Indigo, right? Indigo is one of the flavors of Eclipse. Fine. You go to the first link available and download. Hold on. I'm not sure why it's not open. Okay. Yeah, it's open now. So depending on your OS version, right, you download this one ID for Java EE developers, depending on which type of OS you have, Windows, Mac, Linux, right? So that is the advantage of Java, right? If you implement your Selenium scripts with Java, you can execute them on multiple operating systems. You make your Selenium script in Windows, you make it execute on Linux. You make it on Linux, you make execute on Mac. So that is not possible with other languages. Okay, most of the servers are in Unix, fine, and at times you have to execute your Selenium scripts on servers as well. So implementing Selenium with Java gives you the upper hand because you can implement on your desktop in Windows based operating system and then deploy the same code in Unix based operating system on the server and execute it. Okay, so we'll study all of that, right? But just download Eclipse now. Fine. And now I can open up Eclipse and start teaching you Java. Before I start, is there anybody having any question? Anything? Okay. Fine. There's a question being asked over the chat, right? The question is how much time should it will take to complete the course? Okay. Look, this course will take around 4 to 5 weeks to finish. Fine. The first 5 classes are trial. All right. Another question is how much time will I take to learn Selenium? Like, look, the thing is, learning Selenium is not a problem. You'll just take 15-20 days and you'll be on the track and you'll know about it, right? But learning this tool to a level which is actually used in the industry, okay, that is challenging. Fine. If you actually go out and apply for jobs, go for interviews, or you have to implement a project in Selenium, right? You have to be at a certain level, right? Going to that or raising yourself to that particular certain level takes time. It takes around 1.5 months to 2 months. Okay, it is not something which you can just do in another 15-20 days or something. All right, so it takes time. Any other question from anybody? Please feel free. You can move your mouse on the top. You can, yeah, Arun is asking a question. I don't know Java, how much time learned it before. I told you 2 months, including Java, to actually get the complete hold of it. Okay, it takes minimum 2 months. Right? Don't expect fast results. Many times people they come to me expecting fast results. Right? Fast results do come. You can learn Selenium fast, fine. But to learn it professionally, in order to work in a company, it takes time, or to crack an interview. Alright, you can gain knowledge in just 15-20 minutes, but how to apply that knowledge makes a lot of difference. Right? Any other question from anybody? Okay. Is it necessary to learn programming language? Okay. Yes, it is necessary. You cannot simply run away from it. Okay. You cannot run away from it. You have to do. Look, the thing is, these days testing is no longer manual completely. Okay. Although majority of the testing is manual, but you need to have skills apart from that in automation, in functional testing tools like QTP, Selenium, RFT, fine, or in load testing tools like Load Runner, JMeter, fine. So these are the tools which are required by the companies. And these days, another thing which is getting famous is web services. SOAP protocol testing, REST protocol testing, API testing. So all these things they require a very strong knowledge. And learning Java with Selenium will give you an upper hand because it will be useful if you learn JMeter tomorrow, or it will be useful if you learn SOAP UI tomorrow. Fine. So Java is a language which is not just used in Selenium testing tool, it is also used in other testing tools as well. So don't be afraid of it. You have to go forward and do it. Okay. Look, I cannot comment on this question that how many classes of Java will I take. I teach the concepts of Java, fine. Along with that, parallelly, I teach the concepts of Selenium. I tell how to implement them in Selenium. I don't teach it like that first I'm going on teaching, what do you say, Java, and I stop in the end. I say that fine, Java is over, now we'll start with Selenium. I don't do that. I actually show the practical implication that fine, this is the concept of say inheritance in Java. How is it utilized in Selenium, right? Then I give some examples. That's how I go about it, right? I take it parallelly. I'm using C Sharp. Then no, C Sharp you cannot write code on Eclipse. C Sharp is completely different language. You have to use Visual Studio for that. And it doesn't matter if you use Selenium with C Sharp, Selenium with Java, Selenium with Ruby, Python. It really doesn't matter because the core API of Selenium is same. Only the language in which it is implemented is different. Okay, the core API remains the same, right? Okay, any other question? Okay, what all am I providing in this course? So they're asking. Fine. Look, the thing is, in this course, you will obviously have the online training will be there, right? Apart from that, you will get a username and password to access the 43 modules on the website. Fine. Along with that, we will also record, like I'm recording the regular course class today, right? I'll record this session, and every session I'll record, you'll get an access to every session. Fine. So this you also some interview questions and all I have, I'll share it with you. Fine. So now, right. Okay. So I just told you how to download Eclipse in your machine. Fine. In Eclipse, if you hold on, if you go here, when you download Eclipse and unzip the folder, you'll get a folder known as Eclipse like this out here. Okay. You open up Eclipse. Fine. And in Eclipse folder, you have eclipse.exe file. Okay. You have this file known as eclipse.exe. It's not an installable. Eclipse comes as a bundle. Fine. You click on the exe file, you start up Eclipse, and this is the place. Okay, this will be the place where you will be storing your complete Java code. It is also known as the workspace, right? So I'll make a new workspace wherein I'll store the code of your batch, June weekday 2013. Okay, so I'll click on OK button and hold on. In some time Eclipse will start. All right. Hold on. Right. So this is the welcome page of Eclipse. Okay. And okay, hold on. And another question being asked is, are videos more than enough to learn Selenium? Okay. Look, there are two ways in which I train. Obviously, Sarita, that one is through online training and other is through videos. You can just buy the videos as well and learn from them. Okay. It depends on you, like how much comfortable you are. Okay, the videos are also self-sufficient. Look, the only thing which I want to tell right now is that in online training, I go a little fast. Okay, that's why I take the first 5 classes as trial classes so that you can judge if you are able to follow me or not. Okay, if you are not so comfortable, then you can also get access to the videos, learn from them, okay, get some background, and later on join the next batch by paying the remaining money. That is whatever is the difference between the cost of the videos and the cost of the class. Okay, you pay the difference amount, right, and join in. So that is where it helps a lot, because you then come to the class with a certain background. You already have studied and you're coming to the class. So obviously when you come with the background, it helps a lot. All right. So all right. Okay. So this is Eclipse. I just installed it. Fine. This is the welcome screen. You can close the welcome screen from here. Now, most of the things which I'll be teaching you, many of you would be familiar with those things, right? Today is just the day one, so I'll not go in the very detailed concepts and all the other things. I'll just keep it light, right? So there, in the next coming classes, I'll be taking Selenium and all everything. Okay. So this is Eclipse. Out here, this is known as Project Explorer. Out here, you will create your projects. In the central portion, you can actually write the code, and at the bottom, you will see the output. Okay. The screen is primarily divided into 3 parts. Okay. In Project Explorer, you will be creating your projects. To create a project, Java project, you can right click on this and go to New Project. Okay. In this, under Java, you will see Java project option present. Alright. You simply have to create a simple Java project for Selenium. You don't have to create other big complicated projects. It's a simple Java project, and you have to give a project name. I'll give my project name as day 1 and finish. Okay. Now the thing is, this is the project on the left side which you have just seen, right? If you expand this project, you will see a source folder and GRE system library. Source folder is nothing. In this, I will be storing all my Java code. All the Java files which I'll be creating in this complete training will be stored inside the source